Hello everybody and welcome to Minecraft Disney World, the series where I talk about the history of real-life Disney attractions while exploring their Minecraft recreations. Today we're going to be taking a look at one of my favorite Disney rides and the favorite of many people in all of Disney World, and that is Horizons over in Future World in Epcot. Now this attraction, originally sponsored by General Electric, wasn't always called Horizons. The original working title for it was Century 3. This was a name picked because it was supposed to represent America going into its third century of history. However, Disney executives thought the name might be a little bit too obscure and confusing for international guests, so they changed the name to Future Probe. That name didn't last very long because it was seen as kind of weird and a little too clinical, so it was changed one more time to the name that we all know it as, which is Horizons. This attraction was a massive undertaking for Walt Disney Imagineering, and as a result, it didn't actually open along with Epcot in 1982. In fact, it opened exactly 1 year later on October 1st, 1983. Now, what's interesting about this attraction that not a lot of people know about is that while it is officially its own attraction, a lot of people know it to be a spiritual successor of the Carousel of Progress over in the Magic Kingdom. That was an attraction built by Disney for the 1964 World's Fair and sponsored by General Electric. The idea of that attraction is that you would take a look back at a family growing up throughout the decades to see how life progressed. The idea for Horizons was to follow a family into the future to see how life would improve as time went on. The idea was that the father and the mother from the Carousel of Progress were now grandparents, and their 3 children and then their grandchildren would be spread across these 3 locations that would be prominently featured in the attraction. There's Mesa Verde, a farm over in Desert Lands, there's Brava Centauri, a floating space station, and there's Seabase Alpha, an underwater sea base. However, this wasn't the original concept for the attraction. The original concept actually didn't come from Disney, it came from General Electric. CEO at the time, Reginald Jones, came up with the idea of an attraction that would follow the history of Thomas Edison all the way up until the point that they created General Electric. He eventually agreed to change the idea to an attraction that focused on the future of America, and then later, again, it changed to the future in general. Beyond just being large and detailed, this was also an attraction that was known for being the only attraction at the time in which the guests were allowed to pick the way the ride would end. Towards the end of the attraction, everybody in each Omnimover vehicle would be given the option to vote for one of 3 ways to go back in time. Depending on which ending won the majority of votes, that specific video ending would play for the Omnimover vehicle. After 10 years of Horizons, General Electric dropped their sponsorship in 1993. As a result, in 1994, Horizons closed with no plans for reopening. However, in 1995, it did reopen. The reason for this is because the Universe of Energy was being refurbished into Ellen's Energy Adventure, and World of Motion was busy being refurbished into Test Track. It remained open until 1999, when it was then announced that it would be closing permanently. Rumors persist to this day that the reason for closing this ride is due to it being built near or on top of a bottomless sinkhole. Now, while Imagineer Marty Sklar did confirm that there is a sinkhole in that corner of the park, there is no evidence to suggest that it actually threatened the existence of Horizons. In reality, the most likely explanation for the closure is the combination of the attraction getting old, along with the fact that it didn't have a corporate sponsor anymore. But Horizons lives on, even if it is in minor references. For instance, in the Space Mountain post-ride area, you can see a piece of luggage with a Mesa Verde sticker. The animatronic for the Robo Butler for one of the earlier scenes in Horizons is actually on display at Walt One Man's Dream over in Hollywood Studios. And perhaps most subtly, if you go on Mission Space today and take a close look at the rotating space station in the queue area, you can see in the center of the space station the Horizons logo. So there you have it, just a really quick look into the history of perhaps one of the most beloved Disney attractions. I want to thank you all for watching. If you want to see more Disney videos just like this, all you have to do is hit that subscribe button. I do 3 Disney videos a week. Whatever you're doing this week, make the most of it because it makes it that much better. And I'll see you next time for the next Minecraft Disney World. Bye, everybody.